I think Konsa's got it in him to be a top class player going forward as well. I just wanted to pick your brain on Ezri Konsa because I know you're a fan of him, obviously being an Aston Villa fan as well. But I wanted to talk more about his impact in this Aston Villa side since he's been signed by Dean Smith a couple of years ago. And do you think he will stay at Aston Villa for another couple of seasons, or do you reckon there's a big move on the horizon for Ezri Konsa?
I think since he moved into the first team, like we signed him from Brentford, it was about 9 to 12 million, I think it was. And at the time, a lot of people did question the move because we just bought Engels, House, and then Konsa. So we signed like 3 centre-backs. And Mings as well was another one. So at the time, it was a bit questioned and stuff like, oh, are we sure? Like Engels wasn't that bad. And then when Project Restart happened that season, Konsa came to the team initially playing right back. But then he sort of came into playing centre-back. And since then, every week he's dropped like a 7.5 out of 10 minimum. I couldn't tell you a bad game that he's had in over like 2 years, even like mistakes-wise as well.
Probably that slip against West Brom when they ended up scoring. That's the only mistake I can think of. But when I put it like that, I don't mean it in a bad way. It's just the fact you actually can't think of a bad performance he puts in. It's kind of like Azpilicueta, Amma, wouldn't you say? Someone who's just consistently
consistency. That's what you want from a player. You don't want someone who drops a 10 out of 10 masterclass, then next thing you know, he drops a 0 out of 10 the next game. Like you'd rather have someone like Azpilicueta, Konsa. Just honestly, just looking at the way he's played, just consistency, and you just as a sort of a midfielder and like someone like playing with him, that sort of those two there are like a solid partnership. Sort of going. I know you questioned more directly towards Simon because he's a Villa fan, but I don't think he'll move just yet because I don't think many teams have noticed him. Because don't forget, like Villa, you kind of got a bigger name next to him in Mings, so he sort of slipped under the radar in that respect. Like John McGinn, when Grealish was there, McGinn was the workhorse. I'm sure Solomon agrees, to help Grealish become what he was, and then obviously ended up getting his move. So Konsa, I don't think he'll move in instantly, but he will move soon.
Simon, what can we expect from Ezri Konsa over the next year or so? Do you reckon he could actually make it into that 2022 World Cup squad for England, or is that one step too early for him?
No, I think firstly, I don't think he'll move because I think he's obviously quite happy at Villa. That's the first thing. I think everyone just has this thing like, players, like if they do well, then they have to leave. But I think it's far from that. I think, he's there, he's happy at the club. He knows he's performing well. I think he's been unlucky that Southgate hasn't picked him up yet. But, I don't even know if he will get a call up. For him, it's probably better if he just sort of declares allegiance to Portugal and gets called up for them.
I was thinking that Konsa and Diaz at the back for a number of years for Portugal would be a solid partnership for them, whoever their manager is.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like he's been wasted by not being played, but that's football at the end of the day. Like there'll be an opportunity for him somewhere else. Maybe that's just how it is sometimes. But overall, I think he should stay at Villa. I think he could have a long 10-year career with us, and if he keeps performing well, then I can't see why not.
Yeah, 100%. It's good to see someone again, Ezri Konsa, because we were talking about him last season as well, Sam. The fact that him not really getting dribbled past a lot last season, the fact that he's kind of continued that into this season. He had more clean sheets with Mings and Martinez last season as well, which shored up your defence. At the moment, that's something that Steven Gerrard needs to rectify properly so you don't keep leaking goals at the back. But that's still something I believe that Gerrard can fix with a team that he's got as well going forward. But yeah, I'd like to see Mings stay at Villa for another 1 or 2 seasons, but I do think he's got the capability of being another 40-50 million pound centre-back signing that we've seen over the last couple of years. The likes of Ben White going somewhere, or the likes of unfortunately Harry Maguire being an 80 million pound signing. Not that much, obviously, but we'll see that Aston Villa drive a hard bargain if he were to leave. But I don't think he's going to leave anytime soon. It's just, that theory last season of Jack Grealish not really getting in that starting 11 because he was at Aston Villa, and then as soon as he leaves for Man City, he's in the starting 11 for England. It didn't really make sense in that aspect for me. But I hope Gareth Southgate looks past what he did last summer in terms of picking certain players from certain teams, because I think Konsa's got it in him to be a top class player going forward as well.
See, I don't think that Grealish should be starting for England as well. Like, if you look at the sort of players that are playing better than him right now, like Jared Bowen and even Smith Rowe at one point, I just feel like Southgate's a bit unfair in his sort of team selection. Usually, like, good players are not being called up. Like, the first thing they said is that he'd pick players up on form and not reputation, but he's pretty much like gone completely against that. Anyway, I think that's quite unfair. And yeah, I think that's it.